Oh, thank you. And Kelly and Ann, keep up the great work. This is really where it is. And to get into these components of patient and family engagement to reform healthcare is just incredibly exciting. We could have a whole webinar on those. This slide, just very quickly, in case you want to take a deeper dive on CMS's person and family engagement strategy, this is the document for you. We do have the link on the resource slide at the end, but it's really just outlining their vision of person and family engagement, encouraging the entire healthcare community to consider and take action that you're hearing about today. So I just wanted to make that available to you and to let you know that their strategy is really to enhance the person and family engagement principles, establish those common definitions and consistency for frequently used terms. We know that when we go through person and family engagement, some of us call it patient, some of us call it person. So it gives you that rounded look if you haven't been around PFE, patient, person, and family engagement, as well as some of all of us on this webinar today. And it can provide you with a really good guide to support the meaningful and intentional application of person and family engagement principles in your practice setting. So what I want to turn into now, which some of our practices are involved with TCPi and the change package that we're really dealing with, is the person and family-centered care design. The various change concepts are respect values and preferences, listen to patient and family voice, collaborate with patients and families, and be aware of language and culture. You can find this on the healthcarecommunities.org website under the TCI change package. I wanted you to be aware of that, to take a deeper dive, especially when you're looking at improvement activities. There's quite a bit of information there. So quickly, these 6 patient and family engagement measures have recently come out at the end of 2016, first of 2017, to really give us what I call a roadmap for how do we get from point A to point B on our work to strengthen the engagement of our patients in our practices. So very quickly, I think we've already discussed some of the Active-E tool, which is great with Kellie's work in her practice, looking at shared decision-making. And shared decision-making can be as easily as implementing choosing wisely. Some of you may be aware of that. It's an opportunity to have 5 questions ready on information that your patients can see to help them become a little bit more engaged and involved in their care. Looking at patient activation, health literacy, those are 2 larger issues that when we get further into a slide down the road here before we have to end today, I'll go into that in more detail. And also looking at medication management. Many of you most likely are involved with various strategies as involving a pharmacist as part of the care management, or having someone talk with the patient about their meds, what they're taking, or having involvement with community care workers or a team member working with patients to understand their meds and ensure that they know how they're taking them. And then looking at that support for patient and family voices, and really pulled that out in what she presented, that they really heard from their patients, they heard from the providers too, but the aspect of incorporating that patient voice and the changes that they have made at their practice have really improved. Okay, so when we're looking at examples of those improvement activities that support patient and family engagement for higher performance, and there's several, as you can see, that is the link again. I know you all received that in the chat box. But the 3 that I pulled out all have medium weight, and some of the things that you're probably already are doing, such as IA-EPA 3, and that's the collection and use of patient experience and satisfaction data on access. As you can see, IA-BE 4, engaging your patients, as was talked about in our webinar today. That's incredible. You're probably already doing that. Please include that and look at that through all the different 90 activities that you can see there. And looking at IEBE 17, the use of those tools to assist patient self-management. Again, that could be something as simply as looking at various tools to help them understand how to take their medications. Quickly, this is the Northern New England Patient Transformation Network's baseline survey on where all of our practices were in regards to patient and family engagement, the 6 measures. You can see here very quickly that we're doing fairly well in the e-tool, doing very well in shared decision making. Looks like we need to do some work with working on patient activation and health literacy. So if go to the next slide, please. And then you'll see we're doing fairly well in medication management as well as the patient voice. But going back to health literacy and patient activation, one of our strategies and why we feel this was so important to do, to have that baseline, is to figure out, what are some of those tools that we can utilize? How can we work with our practice facilitators? How can we then direct our educational learnings and offerings to assist those practices where they're very interested in moving their score up in those arenas for the PFE measures? So really success, as everyone is very familiar with, it's just really integrating patient-family engagement through all your efforts. I think that with your clinical interventions, you're looking at patient self-management plans, teach back, health literacy, patient activation, use of shared decision-making like choosing wisely, looking at your operational practices. Many of you have already been involved in the patient-centered medical home principles, maybe culling through those and pulling those that you feel you want to revisit and implementing some of those strategies, looking at your patient advisory councils, looking at your e-tools. So here we're going to our resources. They're right there for you, and I hope that these resources are here to assist you. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me or Ann or Kelly for that matter, and Lisa and Gay, everyone.